Trey Ellis on?
Let's see. Not yet.
Okay. Awesome.
Sweet. We're live. Okay.
All right.
And what is the name of Tracy's organization or Trey's organization again?
Well, now he was a youth pastor, a mentor, and now he's a school teacher. But he was a pastor of a church, but he no longer is. He just wanted to be introduced as a teacher and a youth mentor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I found a way to ramp up our camera quality by using our phones. So once I get it all dialed in, I'll let you know. And it looks like you've seen on Idol, American Idol, and all this, where these people are doing stuff from home, and you're like, man, it looks like they got a camera crew.
Yeah, well, they got that halo light thing.
Yeah, but they're just using their phone as an NDI source. I just found out about it this week, so it looks much better. So I played with it yesterday, and it looks really nice. I just didn't have a chance to get it set up for this morning, but
okay.
Next week.
All right.
Let me make sure Ben is good. Ben said he dropped his phone in the lake or something like that, so he's got a call from his girlfriend's phone or something. Ooh. Listen to that.
Not a lot of royalty-free music out there.
Oh, dates have filled up.
Yeah, they have. This will be good.
They keep shuffling this college football schedule. We might have 10 more Thursday night games.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the JV Sports Show. James Poovey alongside my broadcast partner, Vince D'Alicio. Vince, it's been another crazy week, my friend, but we're right back here on Saturday morning to talk some sports with you, and we got a bunch of special guests coming on with us today as well.
We do, but we're also, going to dial it back a little bit, and not a lot of fun stuff, obviously, to talk about this week, and we're we're going to be real. We're going to talk about some things that went on. This is not there's no political motive here. We're just a couple of guys, some people, citizens, and so we're going to acknowledge a couple of things here in this first segment of some things going on, and it's been kind of a tough week, James.
It's been a rough week for sure for everyone around the country. I mean, Vince, we still have the coronavirus pandemic going on. I think we saw the biggest spike in Arizona since March, just the other day. So we got that to be concerned with. It's definitely a very important time to definitely be social distancing and wearing a mask when you go out in public. I'm out last night. I'm like, I got this mask on. It's hot, but I'm like, you know what? Do you take that chance? Is it the one chance that you take when you go out and don't take the precautions that something's going to happen? I don't want to take that chance.
Well, point and counterpoint. The counterpoint to that obviously now is that there's more people testing positive because there's more people testing. So that's the other issue also. Now,
right.
Do our healthcare professionals have a grasp of this thing? Obviously, there's no cure, no antidote for it yet. But the same thing, you got to be careful when you're out there. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Be careful. Practice social distancing when you're out in public. I mean, all of those things. So it's not we're not here to scare anybody. You got to live your life, but you got to be careful in the same way and follow the CDC recommendations. Some other things that were sad this week that really broke my heart was, obviously you hear a couple of names, and I'm going to say them right now. And there's a lot more to say, but I'm going to start with Ahmaud Arbery, Deion Johnson, George Floyd, and the events surrounding that have been brewing, the deaths of these individuals, and there's no way to soften or to make better the situation. Drew Brees comes out and talks about not disrespecting the flag. He gets lambasted. He has to come back and retract. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I feel generally terrible, and you wonder, what as a citizen can we do? Well, we can peacefully protest. Does that mean we loot? Does that mean we steal? No.
That's not peaceful protesting.
That is not peaceful, but there's things that have been brewing. There's people that are angry. There's people that are upset and fed up. And I get that. I get it. What can we do? Well, number one, get involved. My mom, God bless my mom, and maybe she's on the right track. And she says to me, you know what you need to do, Vincent? You know what you need to do?
Oh boy.
You need to go to church. And I say, Ma, okay, but what is that going to solve? Well, maybe she's on to something. And maybe it's, relating to people, understanding other people. It's not, people say, well, I'm colorblind. I don't see color. Well, that's wrong. That's the wrong thing to say. You have to appreciate people for diversity, for culture. And,
yes.
And even me, my parents came to this country. Everybody here is from somewhere else. My parents came here from Italy. And I'm a first generation, American born of Italian descent. And so we're from somewhere else. You're from somewhere else. Everyone else is from somewhere else.
Vince, we're all from somewhere else. And if you think about it in the truest sense, we're all immigrants as well. We are. Our families way back before we came around, and all of these social tensions have been brewing for quite some time, even before we were on earth. But now everything is coming to a head. When you have someone that is murdered in the street, Vince, and it's caught on video, it's time to do something about that.
Yeah.
Everyone's had enough.
Yes.
Not only the Black community, but the white community, the Hispanic community, the Italian community. Every community has had absolutely enough of this, and it's time that it's got to stop.
So what can we do as individuals? Well, it doesn't have to be much, because every little thing is like a snowball. And so what am I doing? I'm going out of my way now, and I should have been doing this all along, but you just treat people better. You treat people by the platinum rule, not the golden rule. The golden rule is treat others the way you want to be treated. The platinum rule is treat others the way they want to be treated. And that's what it comes down to. Every small gesture means something. Get involved in your community. Somebody, I asked somebody once, what can I do to get involved? And they said, well, run for public office. And I thought they were kidding. I took them up on it, and here I am. So get involved in your community, serve on your school board, serve on your church board. Get involved with people so that you can understand people. I'd like to introduce our first guest, and he's a good friend of mine. He's a pillar of this community. He's been a pastor, a youth mentor. He's a school teacher, and he's just an overall great person. He's a dad. He's a husband, and he was a son, and he was a military son at that. But Tracy Ellis. Trey, good morning. How are you, sir? Good, man. I thank you so much for coming on. And I know it hasn't been in the easiest of circumstances, because we're not asking you to come on and talk about your track, prowess or your football career, growing up in Seattle area. We're talking about a very serious subject. It's a very special person to be put on under the spotlight to talk about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It does.
So, events of the past week have been tough, but events going back even further have been tougher. What's your perspective?
Speaking as a victim myself of a similar situation, I really don't have words for it. I just wish it would end at some point in time, because it's not a coincidence that these incidences are happening in our communities. It's a direct target towards African Americans and people of color. So I think it's unfortunate that it's happening. And the worst part is that millions of people had to view it online.
Trey, thank you so much for joining us this morning here on the JV Sports Show. We really appreciate you coming on with us. And the saddest part of this entire thing is that it's been happening for a long time. And
Yes.
there's a lot of instances of discrimination that have never been brought forth, that were never caught, that were never found out. And all of it has to stop, and it's got to stop today. I think everyone has had absolutely enough.
Yes, sir. I agree. The hard part is we've had people in the past who stood up for our civil rights and fought for our civil rights, and those people too have lost their lives. Speaking to Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, my wife's been watching a lot of TV, a lot of movies about those individuals, and she's starting to see the truth. So I think in these situations, I think the best thing that we can do is just seek out the truth, because we have rights that protect our truths, innocent or guilty, and it's just unfortunate that some of these individuals don't have a right to that due process that we're promised in our Constitution, and that's the part that hurts me the most, is that they don't have a chance to speak out for themselves.
Trey, you and I and James, we're all dads, and this is and young people are near to dear to our hearts. You've been a youth mentor, you've been a youth pastor for many years, you're a school teacher now. What do we say to our kids? What kind of silver lining can we give them, and while also remembering what's been going on?
Well, not to get too religious on you or anything, but the one thing I would tell the kids, and also I tell the kids now today, is seek the truth first, right? Look at both sides of the situation and then make your opinion before taking action, because the truth is the one thing that's always going to set us free. But once you seek the truth and do your research and do your homework and find out what's really going on, I think that's when we can actually fight from a foundation of understanding and truth, because no one can take that truth away from you. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be sad. But in those situations, we can be misguided. But the truth is always going to direct you in the right path and the right journey to fight from a platform of understanding.
Well, Trey, in my opinion, I'm a believer. Obviously, you're a believer as well, and so is Vince.
Yeah.
We're all created in the image of God. It doesn't matter the color of our skin or or anything, the nationality, where we're from, anything. We're all created in the image of God, and if we all start treating each other like that, the world is going to be a better place real soon, I hope.
Yes, I agree with that 100%, and that's the part that's actually missing from our society today, is that we're not treating each other like we're equals. We're not standing on that same foundation where all men are created equal, or in the image of God. I think people take it upon themselves to not just be entitled or be privileged, but entitled to treat people in an unfair manner. There's a couple times here in my city I've been pulled over by myself, and first thing they ask me if you have drugs or alcohol in the car. And it's kind of sad that they would ask that question, because I don't do drugs. I might drink a little, but I don't do all that nonsense. But when my wife gets pulled over and she's Hispanic, they treat her with the most utmost respect, and they follow the law. So with me being an African American and my wife being Hispanic, I see the big difference. And these are things that's happened to me all my life, where even when I get pulled over or see a cop, I get nervous that I'm going to get harassed. Since I was, in the state of Washington, 16, anytime I left the military base to go to school, to go to just a store, I could guarantee what I call a police escort. They would follow me, they would pull me over, they would harass me. And I hear that same question that they asked me before they identify themselves, or they even ask me for my ID or registration, is, do you have drugs and alcohol in the car? And that's just unfortunate that perception has been put on young African American men today. It's not fair, but I stopped wearing hats as much as I used to, because I notice when I wear a hat that people think that I'm a criminal or not the person that I try to live to be every day.
Yeah. Well, it's continued tolerance, obviously, and there is a problem, and we need to fix the problem. We need to work together to come to a solution. Obviously, not all police officers are bad police officers. There's
Mhm.
a couple of bad apples in every profession, in education, academia, in the clergy, in the but
Yep.
we need to work together, and we need to stay strong and be patient and continue practicing tolerance, and hopefully we come out of this better people and coming together stronger, and teaching our kids that there is a better way.
I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing out of this, Vince, is that we have to admit the first thing to solving a problem is admitting that there's a problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that's happened during this past week is I think everyone is finally ready to admit that we have a problem and we got to fix it.
Agreed.
Trey, we appreciate you. We thank you for coming on today. And Tracy Ellis, is a good friend of mine. He's a pillar of the community, a youth mentor, youth pastor, and a school teacher. And you're a great person, Trey. Keep it up, man.
Hey, you do the same, Vince. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Trey. We appreciate you joining us here this morning. Vince, another good show on tap here today. We're going to come back here after a short break, and we're going to talk a little Thursday night football. We're going to introduce our sideline reporter, Brittany Boyer, and also Justice Miranda is going to come on with us as well. He's part of our crew, so we're going to talk a little bit about some Thursday night football. Are you in?
I'm in. Good stuff coming up. Thursday night football, and then some after that. So stay tuned. Welcome to the JV Sports Show. We'll be right back. Go JV. Thanks.
Okay. I'll remind them to call in. I'll let them in right now.
Hey, Aaron, was I muted at all during the segment? No, me. I was wondering if I was muted at all in the early part of the segment.
Hey, Britt.
Okay, all right.
Wait,
thank
can
you.
you hear me?
There you are. Hi, Brittany.
Okay, sorry.
Hey,
Hi,
Brittany.
this is my first
No, that's
time
okay.
using Zoom, so I'm still
That's
trying
okay.
to get it all set up.
Hey, really quick, can you also go ahead and call into the station on your phone?
Yeah.
And then you just basically put it on speakerphone and then turn the volume down, and then that's just the way you'll be heard on the radio too.
Perfect.
The
Okay.
Zoom's working great.
What's the number?
602
Okay.
260
Okay.
1060.
Perfect.
Justice, how are you, sir?
There
I
he
am
is.
doing
There
very
he is.
well.
Oh, he's got the
How about
Steelers
you?
going.
Come on,
Good, good.
man.
Hey,
Cover
can
that
you
up.
call into the station really quick with your cell phone so we can be
Yes,
heard on
I
the
can.
radio? Perfect. And then you'll just put that on speakerphone and then just basically turn the
Oh, I'm
volume down
sorry.
on
You
your
want me
phone.
to just call in so I could be heard on the radio right now? Yes.
Okay, what's the number?
602
Perfect. Thank you.
260 1060.
Okay.
Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Heck yeah.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So I'm on with audio now.
Perfect.
You're set.
Okay.
So,
And Aaron Justice is calling in right now.
yeah. So what do I do after I call in?
Just tell him that you're Justice Miranda, and then he'll put you on hold for a sec.
Okay.
And then just basically turn the volume down on your phone, and then just leave the speakerphone going, or maybe you don't have to do speakerphone. You can just set it down. All right. I'll mute you guys here for just a minute.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thanks, Aaron. All right. There we go. Vince, you want to bring us back?
Sure. All right, welcome back to the JV Sports Show. We got us, James, you picked the music this week. We got us a little Tesla. So
Love
nice.
Tesla, man. If you've never seen Tesla
yeah.
live, you're going with us next time they come to town. That's all I'm saying.
I did. Well, I saw him in 1990.
Maybe out in California, probably.
No, it was here. It was
Oh,
out
here.
at the pavilion. Back then, it was called Desert Sky Pavilion. It
Very
might have been
nice.
like June or July. It was
175 out. Yeah.
Yeah. And all I had to kind of to hydrate me was beer. So it
Well-
didn't end well.
Well, you made it through though. That's the good news, right?
Yeah, I ended up getting out of there somehow. We had a
Oh
test
man.
day. Anyway, welcome back to the JV Sports Show, ladies and gentlemen. Vincent James here, James and Vince. And we are shifting gears and talking about something that's been in the works for quite some time, and that's the return of the Thursday night football game of the week. I am so excited. James, the response to this thing, the teams that we got scheduled, we are just about there. When's our announcement show, James?
We're there, Vince. It's just kind of under wraps right now. We're going to be debuting the schedule this coming Thursday night. We'll be live here again on YouTube. So tune into that on the JV Sports Show YouTube channel. And right now we want to bring on our sideline reporter, Miss Brittany Boyer. Introduce her. Brittany, how are you doing this morning? Doing great.
Man.
Doing great.
Awesome. Brittany, we're so excited that you're joining the team here. I don't know if James talked about pay or anything like that, but let's just say we're excited that you're joining the team. So anyway,
I'm happy to be joining. I'm just happy to be able to get out there, do more coverage of high school sports all across Arizona, because a lot of times I feel like some teams just don't get the coverage they deserve. And so I think this is a great opportunity to really expand and give more kids a chance to get that exposure. So I just am excited to be a part of something like this.
Well, we're excited to have you, Brittany. And one thing we're really excited about too, Vince, is that we're able to cover all the divisions. We're starting from 8-man and going all the way through 6A. So we're going to have a lot of different schools on. We're going to be all over the place. I think I was doing the mileage the other day. I think it's about 500 and something miles that we're going to cover total during this Thursday night football jaunt. So we might have to carpool, guys, to get together, maybe all pile into Vince's Prius or something.
That's right. You guys you gave us carte blanche to schedule anywhere we wanted to schedule, and that's what we did. We've got a whole spectrum. And listen, folks, this isn't just Metro Phoenix. So we're getting out there and we're covering every single level. We're going all the way down to 8-man football. We're going all the way up to the largest schools of 6A. And this has never been done before. I can legitimately say that in a single broadcast show series in a season has never covered every single level of football.
I believe you're correct, Vince. And we're starting it out on August the 20th, Thursday night, August 20th. We're going to have the Tucson Badgers against the Maricopa Rams
you gave it away.
in Maricopa.
Oh,
did I? Whoops. Sorry about that. Okay. We'll just, that's a teaser there. There you go. That's a teaser. That's our first game.
And then October 29th will be our final game. And we had such an overwhelming response. We scheduled a couple of Fridays that we're going to be doing games that we just happen to have buys from our regular gigs, and a couple of Saturdays. Can you imagine Saturday night high school football? I mean, it's unheard of.
We had a huge response, Vince, and a lot of these teams were really excited about what we were doing, and they wanted to get on the schedule somehow, and they were even willing to switch their game, not just to Thursday because that was already booked, but they switched it over to Saturday, and we're really excited. So we were able to add 4 games. So we're going to have a total of 14 games on the slate this fall.
14 games, and stay tuned. Potentially, we may have 1 or 2 more. We'll see. But I also, this isn't just going to be a sideline camera, a single camera that's following the action. No, we've got, again, Brittany will be on the sideline. We'll have a camera there. Who's this guy with the Pittsburgh Steelers logo behind him that's also on the on our pod here on the YouTube?
Let's introduce Justice Miranda. He's going to be one of our camera operators for Thursday Night Football. Justice, how are you doing tonight or today?
Doing pretty well. How about you guys?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, and we're really excited to have you on the team.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be a cameraman. I have some experience doing high school football and high school basketball camera, but it should be exciting doing this, especially like you guys said, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I mean, move over NFL, Thursday night football, move over college football, Saturday night, AIA is taking over.
Excellent. Hey, if you could just turn your laptop sound just a little bit down, Justice, it's feeding back to the station there a little bit. We're excited. We're going to have so much fun this fall with these Thursday night football games, and we're going to have a couple of cameras out there. Brittany's going to be roaming the sidelines, giving us updates from down there. We're going to have a pregame show starting at 6:30, and then we're going to have a little postgame wrap show after events. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. I would say if you can even turn the volume down all the way on your laptops. And but no, thank you. And for those of you guys that remember the name Justice Miranda, Justice worked some HOCOM Junior College Athletic Conference games with us last year, serving as a little color analysis. Did some sideline interviews, post game, pre game. So he's definitely got his feet wet with it last year. And Justice, you're still a student, right? You're at ASU.
Yes, correct. I'm sorry if my mic still.
No, you're good.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Yes, yeah.
Perfect.
I finished up my freshman year at Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication a little over a month ago. So going into my sophomore year, I'm excited.
Got a bit of legitimacy now on our team. And then we've got Brittany, who's worked with, done some work with Pac-12 Network. She's worked with ASU. You've kind of been all over, Brittany.
Also from Cronkite.
Yeah, so I got my undergrad from ASU, not from Cronkite though. Went back, got my master's from Cronkite. So I have been around Arizona State athletics for about 10 years now, really like intensely around it, I should say. But I have gotten to do so many incredibly awesome things. Like you said, Pac-12 Networks, I did the ASU Homecoming Parade back in 2017 for them. I got to host that. That was probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. I've worked for AZ Central doing freelancing my first year in high school sports. After that, I made the transition to East Valley Tribune because there was just a little bit more opportunity there for me. So for the last 2 years, I've been working with East Valley Tribune. Looking forward to keeping that going this year as well. You know, I've launched my own stuff. I've freelanced for writers in different papers in different states, but I've done tons of stuff. So I'm just excited to have another opportunity where I get to do what I love and cover sports and just be out there and just have fun. Like this is what I live for. Friday nights.
So I've got to ask you, Brittany, and I haven't asked you this before. What was your first thought when I approached you with this idea and said, hey, do you want to be our sideline reporter?
Honestly, I was shocked because I feel like I've been trying for so long to try to break into this field, and it's hard. It is really hard. And I feel like a lot of times to be on camera, they want somebody who has already been on camera. And I feel like this is an opportunity for me to kind of transition into doing broadcast because you saw something in me. You and I have worked together a little bit before. You know, we've done some It's Lit with Brit content. So I think that you saw that. And that was how you kind of gauged if you wanted to ask me or not. But I was just amazed. You know, it kind of made me feel like I'm finally doing something. I'm finally making it because I've struggled a little bit during this lockdown with how I feel personally with my own success and accomplishments. And so when you had approached me about the JV Sports Show on Thursday nights, it really kind of helped me remember why I'm doing this and that I am good at this. This is what my calling is, and this is where I want to be. So that was my initial thought, like, Britt, you belong here. This is what you're supposed to be doing. So.
Well, I got to. I was privileged to work with you a little bit last season at the end of the basketball season, right before everything got locked down and everything. And I've seen some of your social media content, and I said, you know, Britt is she would just do awesome as a sideline reporter. And I said, Vince, boom. And I'm so glad you said yes.
Pretty much just like that, James.
I'm so glad you said yes.
Yeah, we are excited because we're bringing, again, a different element. We've got multiple cameras that we're going to be running. We've got an intern that we're bringing on with us as well, Ryan, who you'll meet down the road. So we're going to be running three cameras during games. We've got our producer, Greg Jones, GL Jones, who is currently on vacation somewhere. He's locked up in a bunker.
He's actually delivering Amazon packages right now. Hopefully he's listening. So shout out to GL out there.
GL, there you go. So yeah, and so this is a team. When we say we've got a team of people broadcasting game, it truly is. So coaches, Thursday night, we're going to have a show, and you guys have already been invited. You know who you are that are participating in that broadcast. James, real quickly, in 10 seconds or less, what is going to be your favorite matchup without giving the names of the teams? Give a little backstory. You got one?
Ooh. Vince, we have so many good matchups, man. I can't even tell you.
I have two.
Go ahead.
Okay, I've got one. It's a rematch of a first-round playoff game down in about the middle southern part of Arizona.
Okay.
And then a rematch of a state championship game from last year. Yes.
Really?
A rematch of a state championship game on Thursday night. That's all I'll say. Looking forward to it. Stick around, folks. Coming back on the JV Sports Show. James, who do we have?
We've got Ben Bray coming up joining us, former Red Mountain offensive lineman, now playing for the ASU Sun Devils. We'll be talking with him next. And a special thanks to Brittany Boyer and Justice Miranda for joining us this morning. Love you guys. We'll see you soon. And Thursday Night Football coming up in the fall. Can't
Thank
wait.
you guys so
Around.
much.
Take
For
care.
having me.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys, for having me on.
Hey,
All right.
thank you, Justice.
Have a good day, buddy.
You too.
That's Dallas.
Was that Dallas? I said
Uh-huh.
I put Brecken in the promo.
Oh, maybe that was Brecken. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's bring Ben in, if I can say that. Here
Yeah,
we
he
go.
popped in a second ago.
I must have unchecked the box that said let everybody go through.
There
Ben,
he
how
is.
are you, buddy?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. Hey, are you on the phone with are you on the phone as well right now?
I have a phone. Yes.
Okay, go ahead and call into the station.
All right. What's the phone number again?
602
I'm writing this down. 602
260
260
1060.
1060. All right. I'll call it right now.
Thank you, pal.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you'll do too, if you can hear me, is just turn your laptop sound kind of down a little bit so it doesn't feedback too much through your phone to the station.
Gotcha.
Thanks, brother. Wow, I'm on with a former ASU great and a future ASU great right now.
You former. What who do we have? Wait, we have Jake Plummer on the.
Oh, no, you.
on the pro-
Talking
oh,
about-
you're right. Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
I got to tell Ben about your legacy at ASU.
Yeah, my legacy.
Hey, this is Ben.
All right.
All right. Sweet. Sounds good. Thank you.
Sweet. So what you can do, Ben, is probably just thank you, pal.
Thanks, Aaron.
You could probably just put your phone kind of on your desk or whatever right there and just turn the phone volume down, and then they can just all that is just to get your voice to get back to the station.
Oh, gotcha.
Cool. You sound great.
Sweet. Thank you.
Good stuff. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Are you excited? You're already enrolled, right, at ASU?
I am.
Wow. You've already got a semester under your belt, right?
Already semester in.
Oh,
I've
my
taken
gosh.
some
Ben,
summer classes right now.
who's your position coach now? Since Thompson left, right? Chris
Mhm.
Thompson.
Yeah. So it's Coach Christensen is the O-line coach, and then the assistant is the coach of Hawaii.
Moai. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Ooh,
Coach
Hall
by
of
a
Famer.
Yeah, Hall of
Hall
Famer.
of Famer.
Oh, man. Dude,
Yep.
you were still lining up in the fall at Red Mountain, and you've already got a semester knocked out at ASU.
Yep.
I'm blown away right now, Vince.
This is going to be a horrible segment, Ben. You got this guy is this. Yeah.
Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. James Poovey alongside my broadcast partner Vince Alicio. Vince, I'm among ASU royalty right now. Between you and our next guest,
Yeah. Right.
I'm overwhelmed right now. We're joined
Okay.
right now by Ben Bray, former Red Mountain offensive lineman. And when I say former Red Mountain offensive lineman, I mean just back in the fall. And now this guy's already enrolled at ASU. He graduated early, Vince, from Red Mountain. He already takes care of his studies. He knows how to take care of those books, and he can take care of business on the football field too, let me tell you.
Ben, do you know my last semester in high school, I strung that puppy out. I took ceramics and PE, and I just strung that out. You're graduating in 3.5 years. You're making us look bad. What is going on, man? How
I
you
mean,
doing?
it was the best suit for me. You know, I had all my credits done, and when Christensen offered up to come in early, I'm like, why wouldn't I come in and get some extra strength in and start working out with ASU and start my classes and just kind of getting a lead on life, you know.
Now let's rewind a little bit, Ben. Obviously, you were a star athlete at Red Mountain High School there for the Mountain Lions. I had the privilege of calling your games along with Kevin Derryberry for the last few years and got to watch you not only grow as a player, but as a person as well. And just couldn't be more proud of you. You're staying home. You're going to ASU,
Yep.
where your family has a lineage. Talk about that and how special it is once you were able to realize, hey, I'm going to go be a part of that.
Yeah, 100%. My whole dad's side of the family has grown up at ASU. All got their masters there. Just a broad range of everything. They all went to the football games, and it just kind of passed down the line. And then my dad went there. My mom actually just graduated this semester as a nurse practitioner. So she graduated from ASU. My older sister's also there doing some nursing. And she's 2 years out from graduating. And we're just kind of like an ASU family, We always joke that like if you go anywhere else, you're just kind of, you're either adopted or you're not part of the family. So
It's tough. Now, number one, to be a quarterback and break into to a lineup is difficult, but to be an offensive lineman, it's just as difficult because you got to know everybody's position on that line virtually. You've got to be versatile to be able to get plugged into a spot if you're needed, but you got to know everybody's position at any given time. What's the timeline? Most offensive linemen redshirt their first year, but you coming in a semester early, how is that giving you a bit of an advantage? And what is it looking like in terms of the depth chart this fall?
The depth chart, yeah. I guess the biggest thing is getting early kind of gets you into the playbook earlier, and you start understanding, what ASU's running, and also kind of gets that semester of strength in the weight training program as well. It's kind of cut short this year, but I mean, I was kind of getting in the groove of just kind of learning the playbook and then working out and learning the playbook, and you just kind of immersed in it quicker than if you came in, at the, I guess, quote unquote correct time. The biggest thing is just getting experience, getting a lot of reps in, the one-on-ones and just learning everything. I do expect a redshirt this year, but having that extra experience under my belt will help me in the future years. And that plus that strength training and just, offensive lineman is a position that you need to grow in a lot. And so they build you up, but then you go play, and so I'm super excited. I'm glad I learned a lot. And I'm continuing to learn through Zoom calls right now and just, and still working out. So, yeah.
So you're able to dive deep into that playbook. Talk to us about the day that you first arrived on campus there at ASU or arrived in the football facilities, and just walk us through that day. You got there, they gave you some clothes, got you all outfitted, and did they hand you the big old playbook? And Herm says, "Here you go, Mr. Bray, get on it, sir."
Yeah, it's, so I had my graduation party, in December, and then a week later, I actually moved on the campus. And it was kind of like a big wake up call, like, wow, like I'm coming in early. I don't really know anybody, and just kind of went to the football, facilities and just kind of got in there, the bunch of forms and everything. But like once we started weight training and started doing that, it was like, here's the schedule. You start weight training and then give it 2 weeks. And then we start, spring ball, we start that process of learning all that and then spring ball, in the beginning of March. So it was crazy, but I love the speed, it's different from high school in the sense of like, it's quicker, everyone's better than you, as a freshman. And it's a great humbling experience, but also like an opportunity to learn and to grow, with these guys.
Vince just lost the sign there. Oh man.
I tell you
Faulty
what,
push pins, Vince.
Sorry, Ben. After all that, James and I are like the odd couple.
Ben had us on the edge of our seat, Vince, and then you lose your sign.
I'm Oscar Madison.
Oh, there it goes.
It just and Mr. Perfect there behind you. Even his hair is perfect today, James.
Oh, here we go.
Felix Unger there. But anyway, you know what? Heck with that sign. It was junk anyway.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. So Ben, speaking of workout, you talked about wanting to get in there. What's that like throughout this pandemic? I mean, are you able to go in and lift with the group of guys? What is all that about? What's going on there?
Yeah. So right now, during this kind of quarantine, it's not, like we're not allowed back in the facilities yet. We're kind of coming in stages in July or in June. So it's coming up or coming back into the facilities to work out in small groups. But during this quarantine time, the coaches have given us workouts to do. And it's honestly your option to do it, but it's highly recommended because you don't want to, be super fat when you come back in or super out of shape. So
That's me right now.
My dad bought a weight training set for me, like just one to kind of get through the quarantine. And I've just been running, doing that, trying my best. There's not a whole lot I can do, but I got enough resources to get it done. So I've been doing that. They send us a program over GroupMe. It's another kind of like app that we all communicate with. And yeah, just kind of stay in shape. Obviously intensity is a lot different at your house alone than in the weight training with all the guys. But the fact that, you're still doing it even during the quarantine is what they're looking for.
Ben, has there been anyone since obviously things are a little bit different, not a typical spring football season here for everyone right now. Has there been anyone at ASU that since you've got on campus and got into the football program that's kind of helped you out, maybe mentored you a little bit, taking you under their wing, maybe one of the linemen or someone that says, hey, you know what, I see some potential in you, man. Just follow my lead and I'll show you how we do it here.
Yeah, of course. Most of the, no, all the O linemen are cool. Like I've never really met an O lineman where like I don't like. And so I've met most of the guys in the O line room, and they're pretty cool. The one guy who's kind of stuck out was LD. He kind of showed me around. I always text him if I have a question. That annoying freshman. That always asks questions like, hey, why did they do this? And LD is like, hey, I got you. And so I mean, he's been helping me, especially during this time, because I have nothing to compare it to. So like, is this like the normal? He goes, no, not at all.
Yeah.
So it's good for upperclassmen, or not even upperclassmen. He's about my age, 1 year above me. Just kind of guiding me through it, like what he did when he was a freshman, and just kind of his system.
Excuse me, Ben. So ASU's got an incredible legacy, and even in my time there in the 90s, we were always reminded of 1975 12-0 team, the 1986 team that won the Rose Bowl. And so you're going to have to live up to the legacy, and you're going to be reminded of my team, the 96 team. And what does that make you feel, having been part of an ASU family growing up and knowing that you've got some shoes to fill, some great players from the past, some great teams from the past, some great coaches in the past?
I mean, it's kind of surreal, you're like, man, this is finally the opportunity to go and play, and go have fun. And, whether you feel those shoes or not, like you're doing what you love, like I love playing football, regardless of anything, and so doing out there and working hard. And, if you work hard and, learn the playbook and do your schooling, like you're going to fill those shoes in some way, shape or another, and just kind of, the pressure in the sense of that, like I don't really feel that, which is good, and the community, the ASU community is really like really, really good in that, not putting a ton of pressure in, but they expect you to do good, and they expect, go and get after it, and I'm excited to fill that role. I'm excited to be a part of that team. And it's funny because after every like quiz we have on Zoom, there's a question involving a previous team. So when was the last Rose Bowl? When was the last? It's always kind of taken back to your roots, which is amazing. It's like, man, like I guess I didn't know that. And it's just kind of like I'm learning the past, learning the culture now, and just kind of like understand that ASU football is awesome. I love being part of it, and I can't wait for the next 4 years. So
Ben, talk a little bit about what you think it might feel like when you do get on that field at Sun Devil Stadium, whether it's this season or next season. And you look up in the stands, you see your dad Russell up there and the rest of your family who have that ASU lineage, and you click that chin strap and it's time to buckle it up and go to work. What are you gonna feel at that moment?
Man, I'm gonna feel, I think, a bunch of emotions. If you're not nervous, you're not human. So I'll be a little nervous, but also confident that I know the playbook, and I know that the coaches trust me to be here. They put the best person in, and just kind of, you play for your family, you play for your team. And, if you don't have a little selfish gain to it, you're playing for someone, and it makes you better, and I'm excited to see my dad out there. He's funny. My mom is kind of clueless when it comes to football, so she'll probably be talking to someone when I'm playing, but I mean, both of them will be there, rooting me on, and my whole family as well.
Ben Bray, offensive lineman, Red Mountain High School graduate, starting off his first year at ASU this fall. Ben, an incredible journey to get where you are today. I'm assuming, so you played tackle last year, right, at Red Mountain?
Yes, I did.
I'm guessing they moved you inside for your first year to just kind of get used to being in a little bit more of a confined space. So you'll start out at guard. What side, right or left, or does it matter?
Just both. I've been playing left guard as well. Left guard for the most part in spring ball. And they want me as either a center or guard. So I mean, I'm just learning everything.
How are you in a left-handed stance?
That's my go-to.
Okay.
I play left tackle, so I mean I'm pretty good with my left-handed. Right-handed, I'm like a baby giraffe, so I gotta relearn that.
Okay.
Hey, Vince, I've seen this guy play almost every position on the offensive line at Red Mountain. I believe you might have even played center for a couple snaps over the past 4 years, Ben. So this guy's versatile. He's got the grades and he's got the talent, Vince. So we haven't heard the last of him, and I couldn't be prouder of Ben, and I can't wait to see you as a Sun Devil, man.
Ben, you have to come back on with us down the road. Don't big time us now that you're a
Yeah.
big Pac-12 guy, you know, for those other stations that maybe have a bigger signal. Remember where you came first.
All right, JV Sports Show, I got
There
it.
you go.
There
All
you
right.
go. Hey,
right.
Ben Bray, thanks for joining us this morning, Proud. Always great to see you, and good luck. Continued success over there at Arizona State University, and we'll be following you as you go for sure.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Ben.
Appreciate it.
Stay tuned here on the JV Sports Show. When we come back after the break, we're going to visit with Dan Panitz.
Danny Panitz out of New York. Come back.
Sweet. All right, you want to bring Dan in?
Sure.
Here we go. We got to remember to let the intro play.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk over it.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap.
Hollywood. Look at this guy. Oh my God.
Wow.
Listen,
I got to
listen,
unbutton my shirt a little bit now,
Yeah, I
Vince.
should have showered. Holy jeez.
this is what happens when you date hot Latin girls from New York City.
We should interview her.
Listen,
We
your
wanna look at you.
producer's
Where is
calling me
she?
now, man. Am I even
Oh.
picking this up or what?
Yes, please do.
Hey, I'm already on Zoom, my man.
You got to be on the station too, though.
Oh, I gotta be
call
on the
the station.
station.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
going to call you.
Okay,
You
hold
just
on.
did
a
it
minute.
right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
on right now.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
All right, we're all set. We
Perfect.
live?
We are.
We're live on YouTube right now.
Yeah, we're running live. Don't cuss.
You guys are great, man. By the
Oh.
way, I know you. Oh, he's calling me again. Let me see what he wants. Hey. Yeah, I'm on.
You got to have your phone has to be connected too,
You got
Dan.
to keep your phone
Great.
on.
Bye-bye.
Don't say bye. Your phone has to be connected to the station.
So I got the radio station on now.
Oh, radio's on? Okay, good.
So am I talking to the phone or am I talking into you?
Either
Okay.
or.
You
Just
can
make
just
sure-
talk just like that. It'll
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can leave your phone sitting on the desk. It'll get it
Yeah.
just fine.
Okay, great.
You're
Yeah,
set
the phone
right
is
now.
for the radio, so yeah.
He just told us you're good. Thanks for joining us.
Are you kidding me? Thanks for
What's the
having me.
weather like today in the Big Apple?
Hot and steamy. Hot
Are
and
you in
steamy.
Manhattan or where are you at?
I'm in Long Island, but I have an office in Manhattan and offices in Long Island. And
Okay.
you know, by the way, Vince, couldn't help myself.
Oh, look at that. I gave mine to Bates. I saw Bates about 7-8 years ago, and I gave him mine. So I hope he still has it somewhere. Oh, man, look at that. He has the guns, too. Oh, see, you're going to have to bring those
See,
back
he's even
in a
got the
minute.
props, Vince. Fantastic. Yeah,
It's
keep
like-
those handy.
I tell you, this guy was a player. He was a player. Yeah, and
The
I'm in
artichokes used to
front
be
row of
red?
that one. I'm in the
Is
front
that
row on
Scottsdale?
one, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
SEC,
Scottsdale.
baby.
It's
Yeah.
red and white.
Red, white, and blue. That was our colors back
We're
then.
gonna have to talk about when they changed. When did they change over to the? Were they still the artichokes back then?
They were, yeah, we were the artichokes.
Still the chokes, fighting artichokes.
The
Just
fighting
remember,
artichokes.
Fighting artichokes. Now,
Wow.
I'm talking into the Zoom, into my computer, or am I talking into the phone? What's best for you guys?
Both, because
Right.
the phone
Just
is
like
the
just
radio.
talk, just like you're doing right now.
Yeah,
Perfect.
just what
Perfect.
you're doing.
Hmm.
Oh, he's got his Mets mug.
I don't mess around, man. This is my life.
Okay, no worries, Aaron.
Yeah.
No worries, Aaron. Thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Okay, don't worry about it. Yeah, no problem. So Aaron said he doesn't have the intro. It's not a
Here,
problem.
I'm sending it to you right now, Aaron.
It might be too short, Vince. It's like 30 seconds. We got to go.
Oh.
Bring us back.
Little Tesla. Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. James and Vince and James here. And joined by an old friend of ours. Well, kind of an old friend. He's an old friend of mine. Dan, I've known since 1989. And when he was a JUCO linebacker at Scottsdale Community College, he and I were teammates way back when. And Dan actually played, so I was on the team. Dan played, but Dan's a great friend. Danny Panitz from New York. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, guys. How you doing? How you guys doing? Good to hear your voice again, man. It's been a while.
It has. It
Like
has.
a month or
And
two.
you know, you're right in the heart of everything with the pandemic, and you know, we had we were going to bring your mom on with us. Tell us how is your mom doing? She works in the hospitals. What does she do?
She's first off, she's anxious. So not this weekend, but if you want to do something in the future, she's on. So she gets
Nice.
diagnosed with the coronavirus. And at first it was a false negative, excuse me. So
Wow.
she gets tested. They say it was just the flu, and then bang, she gets a little bit worse. And she gets tested again, and she's got it. And she was in quarantine for, I think, almost 5 weeks.
Wow.
And it was rough, but she's a fighter. And then she finally beats it. And the first thing she does, I'm working at the home office, and she's just gonna bust my chops the whole time. And she just walks in, and she's like, "You look skinny, and why aren't you married yet?" And,
She married
I'm
you.
like, "Can you just get the hell out of the house?" And she's looking for like wine, and I'm like, "Just get the hell out of here." Now she's showing off. She's got all these antibodies, and believe it or not, she went back to work. She's back at Elmhurst General in the epicenter helping people. She's right back. She's a beast. She's a freaking beast.
Wow, Dan.
Wow.
You know it. All right, so we're going to do this regular segment. Aaron, do you have it loaded? You have it yet? Okay, so Aaron's going to load the intro for a segment we're going to run regularly featuring you, and we're going to do it maybe every other week. I don't know. Go ahead, Aaron. Yes. So we're going to do that, and all it is James and I are just going to sit back, and we're just
Let you go.
we're gonna let you guys
I'm going to go take a bathroom break is what I'm going to do.
That's all it's going to be. So what can we expect with you and your ma having bantering back and forth?
Just make sure you're ready to press a lot of bleeps. That's the first thing I tell you.
Now, do we have
We're
to
gonna
be
have to put it
more
on delay.
concerned? Yeah, more concerned about her or about you?
I got her son. She's taught me a lot. I mean, I think you can expect her busting my chops a lot, and you guys are laughing a lot. I mean, she just puts me right in my place in a second, and it's just, what can I do? It's my mom, and I'm like, you got to stop this, Mom. You just got to stop this. Well, you should be doing this. You should be doing that.
Well, I mean, think about it from her angle, Danny. I mean, she just got the coronavirus. She beat it, and now she's back at work, and she's like, "What are you doing? I got all this under control, and what are you doing?"
She's like, you work from home? Well, go to the office, man up. I'm in Elmhurst, Queens.
Well, yeah, and you know, when are you going to make her a grandma, for gosh sakes?
That's my brother's job. That's not my job, baby.
Okay, I
I'm
see.
gonna have kids. I gotta stop wearing flashy shirts like this. Come on.
Holy smokes. This is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
So let's talk about Scottsdale Community College football. Now, this is the first time I've actually got to talk with someone who played with Vince. So I want to know about Vince, the football player.
No, there's not much to tell. You got to show that picture again, Danny.
Oh, which one?
Hold it, wait, the team photo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is.
If you're not on YouTube right now, you need to get there quick.
I hope it's not too shiny. If it is, I apologize.
Keep going.
Oh, yeah. This is 88, though. This is 1988.
All right, where's Vince?
89.
No, he's the next year. Next time we're
on.
Well, we had that hell of a coaching staff right here.
Yeah.
Goldie and Bates and Plugs. And by the way, here's Big Jess. Remember Vince, Big Jess?
Oh, yeah, Sotomayor. Yeah, Big Jesse. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, we had Coach Dickey, Charlie Dickey, that came along the next year. He's the offensive line coach at Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State.
So, yeah, he's a Cowboy. So we had quite a staff. And you know, the Duke, Josh Miller, our punter, ends up played for the Steelers. How many years Josh played for the Steelers?
He played for the Steelers and the Patriots, and he's got a ring, a Super Bowl ring for both teams. And we stay in contact with each other. We're pretty close. I was his best man. That's a great story. That's a great story about me being his best man.
Get the dump button ready, Aaron.
No, it's rated PG. It's rated PG. You want to hear? I'll let you know. But the Duke, I made the mistake of having my JUCO buddy do business with my high school fullback about 2 months ago. Complete disaster. And I got them both calling me. I'm like, that's it. I hung up on both of them. I said, children.
Wow.
No, but they're all laughing about.
Do you remember when the the Cardinals didn't have their own training facility yet, and when we would get teams coming in from out of town, like the Giants, the Redskins, they would come and use our field to practice on. And there was 1 week that they came out, and Bill Parcells was a coach, so we saw Lawrence Taylor, LT, Mark Bavaro, the tight end, and Josh is out there punting with their punter. And I swear to God, he's putting them. Sean Landetta, I think, was the punter for the Giants back then, and he's killing Landetta. I mean, it wasn't even funny.
I can't believe he brings this up. Guess who was Josh? Josh had 2 best men. He had 2 best men, me and Sean Landetta.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wedding. Yeah, so they stayed in contact. And when Josh got married, it's a great story. Josh goes and he says, okay, listen, I can't wait for you to come to the wedding. And he goes, I cannot wait for you to meet all my NFL buddies. This is when he's with the Steelers, or I think he was with the Steelers. So I'm all excited. I'm back in New York building my life. And I'm expecting to hang out with linebackers and fullbacks. And, I'm expecting to hang out with these specimens. And so I get to the wedding, and I got there a little bit late because I was coming in from New York. And I get in, and I get into this room, and there's all these men in the room. And these are all Josh's friends from the NFL, supposedly. And I said, oh, okay. And there's these short guys and these bald guys overweight. And, they look like my accountants or some of the lawyers I've had to deal with throughout the years.
Oh, my God.
I go, we're all the NFL guys. He goes, what are you talking about? The whole room's full of NFL guys. I go, these aren't NFL guys. These are accountants. He goes, no, these are all punters and kickers. I'm like, oh, figures.
Oh, man.
The muscle tone in the room is actually negative right now.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry for you punters and kickers out there. Sorry.
The Rodney Dangerfields of football.
Hey, James, you have to share your screen. Let me share my screen because I want to put a picture up right now.
Boy. Do it, Vince.
Okay, let me see if it says host disabled. So.
Oh, let me make you the host, Vince.
Okay, just for a second here. Let me. I got to show you something, Dan. All right, here we go. Let me find it, and it is right here.
You just got to make me the host after so I can stop the stream.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let me see if you guys can see this. How do I? Oh boy. Let me back up again. Let me do it again. And all right, here it is. Check this out. You guys see that?
It's coming. Oh, there we go.
That's our pick right there. Now, here's me right here, 77.
That's you?
Yeah, where's Dan?
77.
Dan Panitz is right back here. You see my mouse? Right there.
Kevin and Mike Goodwin.
That's it. Right there. So yeah, that's Dan right and back, right up there. And so yeah, Coach Dickey here, who's at Oklahoma State, Coach Bates, all those guys. But yeah, it was quite a man.
What were you, a pulling guard, 77 or what?
I was 5'8", 185 pounds. So we weren't as big back then. Although Danny was a lot bigger than a lot of us. So anyway, his bicep was bigger than our thigh.
Did you ever take on Vince in the hole, Danny, when he was trying to ISO block somebody?
Let me tell you, I stayed away from it. I was worried.
Because I went low.
Dynamite comes in small packages.
I went low.
He was a hard worker. He was a great teammate, great friend. He was a guy that you called on him, he would run right out there in a second.
Listen to this guy.
He was
still the same, Danny.
Yeah,
it's still the same.
Some guys, they just don't get the definition of team. I always did. I hope I always did. If I ever disappointed one of my teammates, I don't think it was too many of them. But if I did, I apologize. But I don't think I did because I always understood that
this is your chance to come clean, Danny.
No, seriously. I mean, anything. You want to hang out with me and the Duke? We had a great time.
So We can't wait to bring you back, Dan. We're here in our last minute, but thank you so much, Danny Panitz. And our new segment will be live from New York, Danny and his ma. That'll debut either next week or the week after. Tell Joni we love her and we can't wait to have her on the show.
Get
And
the
there's
skit
no
ready.
pay that goes with this, by the way. So don't be expecting any checks in the mail.
We're gonna start paying you, man. It's good.
Oh,
You
yeah,
guys are
there
gonna
you go.
you two are gonna be me and my mom's therapist. This is
Oh,
great.
Okay, good. We can't wait. We can't wait. Thank you so much for joining us here on the JV Sports Show. Thank you to Tracy Ellis, youth minister, mentor, school teacher, Brittany Boyer, sideline reporter, Justice Miranda, our cameraman, Scottsdale Community College, a former Artichoke, Danny Panitz, live from New York, and Ben Bray. James, another great show.
Another great show, Vince. Thanks to our partners as well, Stessa Movement Company, Angel Dentistry, Vets Built Contracting, Buffalo Wild Wings, Training Better Athletes, Angel Dentistry. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. Wash those hands and we'll take care. See you next week.
Dallas Gilbert Pizza.
Wow.
All right.
Now you got to make me the host, Vince, so I can end the stream.
Okay. All right. How do I do that?
Go up to the right on participants.
Let's see.
Look for the more button. Highlight my JV Sports and then more, and then make
more?
host.
Okay. More participants, JV Sports, more, make host. There you go.
Perfect. All right,
All
now
right,
we can
man.
end it. Sweet.
Nice
All right, good
job.
show, man.
Hey, quick question. So on
Hold on, we're
the-
live. Hold on one second.
Oh, good.